yere uyo uko kuno apo pano mamuona kere nice.
Right, 7 October 2021, and today I've got my usual guests, President of the Zimbabwe People's Action Party, Mr. Steve Mutambuwa. How are you, sir?
How are you, Mr. Zimbabwe? Thank you very much for having me on this show.
Fantastic. And today we're going to have a quick discussion, and it's going to be quick, but it's very, very important. And this is with regards to the sanctions on Zimbabwe, which have been in place for over a decade. Are you familiar with the issues surrounding the sanctions?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Zimbabwe. The sanctions, they were put on us, Zimbabwe, in 2002. That was after the formation of the Movement for Democratic Party in 1999. And those sanctions were put on us, Zimbabwe, because of human rights abuse, political beatings, killings, and the like. That was during Mugabe's era.
Okay. So, in your view and in your party's manifesto or policy, what is your view on sanctions on Zimbabwe, and what do you think should be the solution?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Zimbabwe. I think as the Zimbabwe People's Action Party, our stance is sanctions, they are not good for us. Sanctions are not good for Zimbabweans. You know, they're killing Zimbabweans. The economy is going down every day. So I think sanctions, they have to go. Though they are saying these sanctions, they are targeted, but they are not targeted. The reason why, because those people who are targeted, they are living life. But a person who is in the street, the person who is going to work is suffering. Because look at the rate. The rate is changing every day. You know, you can't, prosper in this environment. Like now, you know, there are those money changers. They are being arrested. It is because of that, because of the rate. It's changing every day. Prices in the supermarkets, they are going up every day. So you know that the rate from the bank rate and the parallel market rate, there's a huge margin, like 100%. So no, matching that is very difficult.
Okay, so in form of your political party, what would you do for these sanctions to be removed?
Okay, for these sanctions to be removed, I think what we need is, because, you know, this is a Zimbabwean solution. I think what we should do is to sit down, you know, we agree on political reforms, we agree on, you know, there are these accusations of election rigging. Those ones, I think we should sit down, agree, and, you know, we make a way forward. I think when the outside world sees that there is transparency in Zimbabwe, you know, there is that political will, there is free and fair elections being held in Zimbabwe, I think those sanctions will go. Hello, Mr. Zimbabwe.
Sorry, Mr. Mutambuwa, I don't know what happened. I just got kicked out of my studio here. I hope you were able to stay. Yeah, strange things are happening to me these days, so I might have to find out what's going on. So we were still at you were describing what is happening with the sanctions and how they came to be and the effect that they're having on Zimbabweans. So there is a big difference of opinion between ZANU-PF and the MDC on the sanctions. The MDC says the sanctions is not affecting ordinary people. And ZANU-PF is saying the sanctions are affecting ordinary people. What is the policy position of your party?
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Zimbabwe. I think from Zimbabwe People's Action Party, these sanctions, they are affecting all Zimbabweans. They are not targeted like what other people are saying. You know, when something is targeted, it makes that target to suffer. But looking at it, those guys who are targeted, they are living life. They've got everything. You know, they are kids, they are going to school outside the country. They used to seek medical attention outside the country, but because of this COVID-19 pandemic, now they resorted to seek the medication from Zimbabwe. But people are suffering. You know, you can tell. We are in Zimbabwe. We meet a lot of people every day. You know, you can tell that things are not good because of these sanctions. Yes, so from our perspective, Zimbabwe People's Action Party, we are saying these sanctions, they have to go.
Okay. Let's look though at the angle that the MDC is taking. That Zimbabwe is the one that needs to act to get these sanctions removed. Is that the correct position?
Yeah, I think it's a correct. That is the correct position, because looking outside Zimbabwe is another thing. Because I think we should sit down as Zimbabweans. We have got a homegrown solution. If we sit down, I think we can iron out our differences. And the differences they are emanating from not trusting each other. Like when it comes to election times. People, like opposition, there are areas which we are not allowed to go and campaign. Looking at that, it's something else. The outside world, when they are looking at us, they will see, there's gonna be no free and fair elections in Zimbabwe. So I think if we sit down, we put our house in order, I think those sanctions will go. Look at, because these sanctions were imposed in 2002, and in 2008, they were reviewed, same as in 2013.
Okay. So if it was you who was in office, what would you do? I think I need to go back to that question. The current government, do they deserve to be under these sanctions?
The current government, yes, because the name is the same. This is ZANU-PF. It doesn't matter who is leading. It's ZANU-PF. So I think they should put some political reforms, and they should accept that we are one people. As Zimbabweans, we should sit down and chart the way forward.
Okay.
Yes. When we are talking of politics, we don't have to do a divide and rule. Like we say, no, these guys, because they've accepted to join Poland, So they have to come and we have to tell them what to do. The moment a defeated person joins an organization which is led by the winner, that is a sign of defeat. So that's why you see us at Zimbabwe People's Action Party, we are saying no, we are not going to join Poland because that club is for defeated people. It's a league of defeated guys.
Okay, now let's go to the key question that I wanted to ask today. The current president of the MDC Alliance, Nelson Chamisa, was quoted in various WikiLeaks papers supporting sanctions. Have you seen these papers or from WikiLeaks? In fact, the cables.
No, I think I've got. If you can give me, I can play this video. Nelson Chamisa. I think he's. Let me play it, Mr. Gambakwe.
Okay, I think you can send it to me on WhatsApp if possible. Then I'll play for everybody to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you can just a minute.
He, however, added the proviso that President Mnangagwa gets his house in order, as he puts it. The United States has extended sanctions by 1 year, saying they will only be lifted if Harare implements certain reforms.
We have said sanctions are not good for any country, but the key thing for us is to focus on the things that we can control. Why should we allow sanctions against our people to continue? Sanctions against our people through rape, sanctions...
Okay. No, that is the only video I had up from Nelson Chamisa. It's against the sanctions. And,
okay.
What happened is...
I want to spend a bit more time on that.
All right.
That is what he's saying in public.
In public.
But when he went to the American embassy and spoke to American embassy officials, in the run-up to, I think that was in 2008, he said that sanctions are effective. And according to him, they were forcing ZANU-PF onto the negotiating table. Is that not where we need to start? That the MDC believes the sanctions are effective in achieving their political goals?
Yeah, the problem is because Nelson Chamisa inherited the policies and the guidelines of MDC, because the sanctions were called for by the late Morgan Tsvangirai. That was because there was a tension between Morgan Tsvangirai and Mugabe. Election rigging, political, human abuse, and this and that. So, if we can continue saying Chamisa is still calling for sanctions on Zimbabwe, or he's saying sanctions they are good for Zimbabwe. No, I think you said you went to U.S. embassy. I didn't see. I didn't hear or saw that.
No, I just played. I just showed you the cable.
Okay.
I can show you more. That was just one of them. There's more cables. That's where Chamisa is openly asking for the sanctions to continue.
Okay. All right.
So he thinks the sanctions are effective. Tendai Biti was part of the people that wrote the sanctions document for Zidera. These are well-known facts that are on the ground. Is this not where we need to start to convince the guys in the MDC that the sanctions are not a solution? Even if they were to put sanctions for as long as possible, it's hurting ordinary people, and they need to openly come out and speak against the sanctions.
All right. I think on this sanction issue, I think this is the right time for us opposition, especially the MDC, to come out and tell Zimbabwe that sanctions have to go. I think from here we can start a new chapter. So I think these guys, as an opposition, you don't have to put your cards on the basis of that. If I do rhetoric politics, if I do something or I say something which is against the ruling party, I will win the hearts of the people. I think sanctions, I think everyone is seeing what sanctions are doing to ordinary people. Even us, we used to transfer money. I'm a businessman. We used to do some telegraphic transfers to Dubai, States, South Africa. But now, you are asked many questions. What is that money for? And if you transfer that money out there, they want that capital, the Form 22, that money transferred. Did the products come back? Do you have that form from Zimra to show that you bought the goods? And you present that form to your bank, and the bank will submit that form to the RBZ. It's hectic. It's hectic. So, what we want is, we want to do what we used to do. Simple business. You have got your money in the account. We are spending a lot of time running around, buying money from those runners in the street. It's risky. So I think those sanctions, they have to go. What we want to do is to do the normal way of doing business in Zimbabwe.
Okay. I am displaying the second cable where Chamisa was openly calling for sanctions. And in fact, he called for military intervention on Zimbabwe. And this is a publicly available document. And then the first document I showed you, Tsvangirai had spoken against the sanctions. And Chamisa said, no, Tsvangirai was wrong. The sanctions must continue. Do you think, as an election issue in 2023, the sanctions, the government of Zimbabwe is properly articulating this issue so that people know who is causing these sanctions to stay in place?
All right. On that issue, I think your question, the opposition and the ruling party, they have to meet somewhere, because sanctions have been called for a long time, since 2002. Even now, the sanctions are still there. And the ruling party is saying sanctions have to go. I think they are not difficult issues to solve. I think we have to sit down and resolve these issues. I think the only problem which is needed here is about political reforms. Political reforms, opening of airwaves, campaigning freely. We don't want to see those danger zones, this and that. But coming back on this cable, Mr. Gambako, I think I don't know what Chamisa is saying behind the scenes, because taking you back, I don't think Chamisa can influence the Western world to put sanctions on Zimbabwe, because I think in 2018 in May, he had a conversation, a show with Stephen Saka on BBC at top. He was labeled a liar, and the moment these guys, they labeled you a liar, they don't trust you. You don't have the influence to say no, give Zimbabwe keep on giving Zimbabwe some sanctions. We want our people to suffer.
Okay. I'm hearing you, and I'm sure that your policy is very clear to everyone who is listening. You have said that sanctions must be removed, and you think that the first step must be taken by the government of Zimbabwe, and also the opposition. I didn't hear clearly there what you said about the opposition. What should the opposition do to show that they don't want the sanctions?
You know, the opposition, we have to speak with one voice. You know, on this issue of sanctions, the sanctions were put during Mugabe's era. I think we've got, you know, new guys, and the new guys is led by this guy who's saying it's soft like a wool. Why can't we engage him, talk to him? That is outside the Poland, because we are saying Poland is full of people who were defeated, and those guys they only you know, joined the Poland maybe because of vehicles and the like. But us who are outside, we are saying no. We've got our own vehicles. We have got our own better vehicles than those ones which were given to those guys who joined Poland. So we have got a ground to stand. We are saying no, guys. Let us sit down. We can talk. I think we can find a way.
Okay. Let's look at your party, yourself as the presidential candidate. What is the main issue on which you're campaigning?
Okay, the main issue is to put Zimbabwe, you know, we want to make Zimbabwe work again. Looking at what is happening, you know, the problem with Zimbabwe is the leadership, the direction is not there. Maybe they are not, some advisors are not there. Look at what is happening now. People are being, boys or men, they are being arrested in the street because of they are buying money on the black market. The problem is not those guys. The problem is government is giving some tenders to the guys who are who are doing the roads. Those guys, they are being paid in RTGS. And what do you think the RTGS is going to do to those guys? They have to change it to USD. So these guys, for them to go in the street to change that money, it's impossible. They look for the runners to change that money so that they can have tangible money, USD. That is why we are seeing this. And that surplus is nothing, because we still come to the same position of high rate, banning, this and that. Because there's no surplus in the treasury. There's surplus in the people, in the hands of, in the pockets of the people. That is where the surplus is. Hi, Mr. Zimbabwe, can't hear you. There's no volume.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm experiencing some very heavy rain here, so
All right.
I'm having some issues. I was saying, I feel that your party has got very important topics or manifesto issues to deal with: the economy and also what is happening on the ground. And I think these are some of the issues that we need to be discussing as we go along. But I feel that the issue of sanctions is probably going to be the most important issue in the 2023 elections. But I see that young people in the MDC, they do not understand the issue. They look at it at a very superficial level. Do you think that ordinary Zimbabweans understand the issue of sanctions?
You know, politics is all about propaganda. You know, do you remember those during Jonathan Moy's days, when he was the Minister of Information? He used to play those jingles on the media. You know, whenever when you are driving your car, you can sing that song from nowhere. Those are jingles. That's propaganda. So the moment you tell or you compose a song about what you want, and that song is repeatedly played on airwaves, our radio stations in Zimbabwe, they are not open. We have got the state which is controlling all the radio stations and the TVs. So, wherever you go, you can hear that song. So what we want to do is let us open the radio stations, let us open the TV stations, so that people can hear a station from Zimbabwe People's Action Party. People can hear a station from MDC. People can hear a station from Maduku. That is what we want in a free Zimbabwe. And the moment those guys see that, no, Zimbabwe now is back to normal, they can remove those sanctions.
Okay, this has been an interesting discussion, and this month of October is obviously sanctions month. The whole of Africa has said sanctions against Zimbabwe must go. So I'll be bringing many different people to talk about sanctions, and I'm very happy that you are the first person to join us. Is there anything else you want to say before we close?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Gambabwe. I think it was a very interesting topic, since it's October, the sanction month. I think let us have one voice. Sanctions have to go. Let us start a new chapter. That is Zimbabwe. And Zimbabwe People's Action Party, this is the third part in Zimbabwe. We are big, we are building our structures. Please join us. We are on Facebook, WhatsApp, everywhere we are there.
Right, and those who want to contact you, I've displayed your number on the screen.
On the screen, yeah. 263-719-052-006.
Yes, so where exactly is your party now? How can people join?
Okay, we are on Facebook, Zimbabwe People's Action Party. If you type that, and we are also we have got our website, www.Zimbabwe People's Action Party.org.co.
Okay, so that's your website.
The website, yes. We are on a website. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mutambuwa, and I'll have you again back next week as we continue to look at your plans and also the key developments which are happening around Zimbabwe in terms of the politics of our country. Thank you very much, sir.
My pleasure, Mr. Gambabwe. Thank you very much.
Ay,